So, do some people on the left want Nigel Farage dead? Why is it so hard for them to believe that Nigel Farage gets death threats all the time? He didn't turn up to the count after he won the Clacton by-election last night.
I had to say that after 33 years of being a candidate in active politics, I've been advised tonight by Essex Police that there is an organised campaign to disrupt and degrade the result that will take place in a few hours' time.
Now, the left-wing media spent all day today absolutely obsessed with trying to prove that he was lying about fears of his safety.
What we understand, and we've been told, is that Essex Police didn't tell anybody not to go.
Well, there you go. This is GB News Originals. I'm Emily Carver. Please do give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And do leave a comment. Let me know what you think.
So I guess we're trying to work out what's in the mind and the level of concern of those around him, aren't we?
Honestly,
and where the information came from.
Seriously, I think you need to get a grip. I'm talking about Nigel's safety, security and remaining alive.
And then we have the absolute far-left classic of saying, well, there might be death threats, but it's all their own fault.
I'm actually going to urge Nigel Farage to stop using the language of violence. It occurred to me that if you turn up the temperature, you don't get to decide who gets hot. You don't get to confine the responses to the people you're appealing to.
I mean, honestly. And then we've got prominent far-left commentator Supatansky online, previously responding to fears that Nigel might be killed by posting, if he is, he created the conditions for it to happen. So there you go. When Nigel Farage came out and revealed that his home had been firebombed, The Observer did an article basically saying that that wasn't true. Well, you know, the police say it was an attempted burglary. The door was a bit damaged, but nothing was stolen. Well, actually, this time last week, as we were on air on this show, counter-terrorism police investigating the murder of Anne Widdecombe reopened an inquiry into the incident at Farage's South London home. So I do think that maybe people at The Observer look a little bit silly now, don't they? And then we see things like this.
They voted against inquiries for grooming, and you're telling me...
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously just lunatics everywhere, aren't there? Who, you know, that was someone just stabbing an effigy of Nigel Farage there. And we saw, in the wake of Anne Widdecombe's death, lots of people on the far left essentially celebrating it. Completely celebrating it. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, he gets driven around in armoured cars, has 24/7 armed police protection, and we actually know that because some of his police officers left their bag full of weapons on a street outside his house, which was nice, wasn't it? That was just as some of the disorder was happening in Clapham, so goodness only knows what could have happened there, hey? But, you know, people on the left will say, well, that's because of the far right. That's because of Islamophobes. Of course he needs that level of protection. All right, OK. But it's inconceivable to them, is it, that Nigel Farage might face similar threats? I mean, Keir Starmer said he needed to be gifted a hospitality box at Arsenal games for his personal safety.
Security advice is that I can't go into the stands. Or if I did, you'd have to put so much sort of security in that it would cost the taxpayer a fortune.
Keir Starmer does not have a human right to go and watch the Arsenal, right? Seriously, he doesn't. But anyway, lefties are willing to just accept blindly that Keir Starmer needed protection from fellow fans of the football club he supports at home games. But they're not willing to accept that Nigel Farage's security might have basically said there was a credible threat to him last night. There are 3 stages of left-wing hysteria about Nigel Farage's safety. 1, there are no threats. 2, there is a threat, bit one, but he's exaggerating. 3, there is a big threat, he's not exaggerating, but he deserves it. And when you look at it like that, it's just not very #be kind, really, is it, from the usual suspects? Amy, I'll go to you first. Obviously, you were there last night, and in fact, you caused a bit of this hoo-ha inadvertently by being interviewed at the count and being asked, you know, why is he not here, and have Essex Police said that there's a threat to his life. My understanding is that Essex Police told him there would be a disturbance, and then his security said, don't go. Is that right?
Well, yeah, so despite the unseriousness of the commentary today, and I'm actually disgusted by, you know, some of the interviews that Richard Tice had to do this morning and various others, let's be very, very clear. If you are an election-winning candidate, There's nothing more exciting with a exceptional result like Nigel Farage got last night than walking into that account with your team to go and collect the trophy, which is what you do when you win an election, and to be able to then speak to the people from the podium that have just voted for you and thank them. Nigel Farage was robbed that democratic right to do that because of a serious threat to him that was advised by Essex Police. There are people out there paid to keep Nigel Farage alive. He is the most targeted politician of our lifetimes right now in British politics. And he had to make that difficult decision because of the advice he was given. And Essex Police have confirmed to Chopper, your political your political journalist here at GB News, Essex Police confirmed they were in talks with Nigel's team. So I'm very disappointed with Essex Police for how they responded to it, to almost infer that Nigel wasn't telling the truth. The truth here is we have the next Prime Minister of this country who's just won an election who wasn't able to go because of serious threats. And if people don't take that seriously, they're on another planet.
All right. Chris, there seems to me to be, just a willful... I do think, we are looking at certain corners of the media and certain people out there who actually do really hope that Nigel gets badly attacked and hurt.
Well, they need that they don't need it to happen, but it will take that to happen for them to believe that there is a threat. And, of course, we saw it. I mean, I know, look, we won't go into the details of it because obviously it's active, but Anne Widdecombe. I mean, I'm sorry, you don't get a more obvious threat than someone who was a senior member of Reform murdered in her own home. And so I am inclined to agree that if Nigel Farage felt that it was going to be compromising his security, and the police, you're absolutely right. The difference is the police haven't confirmed they told him not to go. The police have said, look, we told the team there was this potential threat, and then the team made the decision that actually it's not worth it. Now, that's reasonable. That's absolutely fair. You have absolutely every right to say, you know what, I don't think that my safety is worth standing on a stage for. And so what is irritating about this is the hypocrisy of it all, I think, because when you are on the right of politics, far right as everyone else says, but on the right of politics, you don't get the kindness, and I don't think you get the leeway that people on the left get, because you're absolutely right to point out that Sadiq Khan is driven around in a £300,000 armoured Range Rover, and everyone has to say, oh well, that's the fault of the right. But then also, if there is a threat towards the right, oh, that's the fault of the right. Everything is the fault of the right. You know what I mean? My dishwasher didn't work the other day. That's the fault of the right, ladies and gentlemen. And so that's the irritating thing about it. Either we want to keep everyone safe, or we don't keep anyone safe. But we can't pick and choose.
That language, it's one thing that really gets me is, well, you turn the hate...
Behind closed doors in Westminster, the political landscape is shifting far faster than the evening news would care to admit. Welcome to Britain Underneath, where we peel back the polished veneer of British politics to reveal the raw, unvarnished machinery operating beneath the surface. If you appreciate uncompromising, high-level analysis that refuses to bow to establishment talking points, please take a brief moment right now to hit that subscribe button. Supporting Britain Underneath ensures we can continue bringing you the sharpest political coverage in the United Kingdom. Now, let us dive straight into the heart of the matter. The recent Clacton by-election was supposed to be a straightforward victory lap for Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, having resigned his seat just weeks prior to force a high-profile electoral test amidst mounting scrutiny over personal financial declarations. Farage achieved precisely what he set out to accomplish on paper. He reclaimed his seat in Parliament with a decisive vote share, leaving a field of fringe candidates trailing far behind. Yet what unfolded in the early hours of Friday morning was anything but standard parliamentary procedure. Instead of walking into the Clacton Leisure Centre to deliver a triumphant victory speech from the podium, the newly re-elected Member of Parliament was entirely absent. The declaration took place in front of a hall devoid of his presence, leaving 33 rival candidates Farage claimed that Essex police had warned his security team of an organised campaign intended to disrupt and degrade the event, suggesting that stepping onto that stage presented a level of risk no victorious candidate should be forced to endure. Almost immediately, rival political figures and elements of the press challenged the narrative, asserting that law enforcement had merely outlined standard contingency protocols for a large public gathering. What followed was a bitter media dispute over security, perception, and political theatre. On one side of the aisle, supporters argue that a figure who commands such polarising attention in modern British public life must exercise extreme caution. On the other, critics dismiss the move as a calculated stunt designed to evade difficult press questions regarding the ongoing Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards investigation into an undeclared £5 million gift from cryptocurrency tycoon Christopher Harborne. This episode exposes a far deeper fracture within the British political ecosystem. We are witnessing an era where traditional parliamentary norms are eroding at an unprecedented rate, replaced by deeply entrenched factionalism and a profound breakdown of trust between political figures, the media, and law enforcement. The major political parties chose to boycott the Clacton contest entirely, labelling it an expensive vanity exercise. That decision left Farage to square off against an extraordinary slate of independent and novelty candidates, most notably the satirical figure Count Binface, who remarkably managed to secure over 26% of the vote. When a joke candidate in a metal costume becomes the primary parliamentary challenger in a British constituency, it is no longer merely a local curiosity. It is a stark diagnostic reading of a democratic framework undergoing immense structural strain. Take a breath, because the implications here extend far beyond a single seaside town in Essex. The reality is that the United Kingdom is navigating a delicate period where political rhetoric has reached a fever pitch. Members of Parliament across every single political party are reporting unprecedented levels of intimidation, hostility, and genuine security concerns. When public servants require round-the-clock protection merely to carry out basic constituency duties, the fundamental contract of representative democracy is compromised. Whether one views Farage as a If you are finding this deep dive valuable and want to stay informed on the true dynamics shaping our nation, take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription helps Britain Underneath remain independent and dedicated to delivering rigorous, unsensationalized political commentary. Looking ahead, Farage's return to Westminster resolves very little of the overarching drama. The Parliamentary Standards investigation that was paused upon his resignation is set to resume immediately. Should the watchdog find against him regarding financial disclosure rules, the threat of further parliamentary sanctions, or even another recall petition looms large on the horizon. Farage maintains that the funds in question constituted a personal gift meant for security expenses prior to taking office, requiring no formal declaration. His political opponents insist that rules surrounding transparency must be applied without exception or favour. What happens next will set a crucial precedent for how financial disclosures and security arrangements are handled for high-profile political figures moving forward. Meanwhile, the broader political apparatus in London is watching these developments with intense anxiety. The governing Labour administration and the Conservative opposition are both attempting to recalibrate their strategies as public trust in institutional politics continues to hover at historic lows. While major parties may try to dismiss events like the Clacton by-election as isolated political theatre, They cannot ignore the underlying dissatisfaction within the electorate that fuels these unconventional outcomes. The political landscape of the United Kingdom is being actively rewritten, not in the quiet corridors of Whitehall, but through noisy public confrontations, bitter media wars, and an increasingly disillusioned voting public. As these events continue to unfold across Westminster and beyond, understanding the mechanics behind the headlines is essential for anyone who wishes to navigate the future of British society. We will continue to track every development, scrutinise every decision, and bring you the clear analysis you deserve.
Thank you for spending your time with Britain Underneath today. Please encourage the growth of this platform by subscribing right now, sharing this video, and joining us for our upcoming coverage. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and we look forward to welcoming you back for our next release. This video from GB News provides direct commentary and panel debate regarding Nigel Farage's decision to miss the Clacton election count due to security concerns, which is the primary news story analysed throughout this script.